Welcome to CatFactsFunny. This is not a place for tricks, commands, or quick fixes. It's a quiet place for people who love cats enough to slow down and notice the things that usually go unseen. Cats do not live loudly. They do not explain themselves when something feels wrong. Instead, they adjust. They grow cautious. They tolerate small discomforts until those discomforts shape their behavior. Many of the stressors cats experience are not dramatic or obvious. They are woven into ordinary human routines that feel neutral or even loving from our perspective. Today, we're exploring everyday habits that quietly stress cats. Not because humans are careless, but because cats experience the world through a very different nervous system. When you understand that difference, something subtle changes. Your home becomes calmer, your cat becomes softer, and trust deepens without being forced. Why direct eye contact feels different to cats. For humans, eye contact is one of the earliest forms of bonding we learn. Babies seek it instinctively. Conversations rely on it. Love is often expressed through long, steady gazes that say, "I see you." Because of this, it feels natural to look directly into the eyes of a cat we care about, especially when we're feeling affectionate. But cats do not read eye contact the way we do. In the feline world, sustained, direct staring often carries tension. Can signal challenge, control, or intent. Predator stares. Dominant animals stare. A long, unbroken gaze is not neutral information to a cat's brain. It is data that must be interpreted carefully. When a human leans in and locks eyes with a cat, especially from above, the cat's nervous system may register pressure where none was intended. This doesn't mean the cat feels afraid in that moment. More often, it means their body quietly prepares for uncertainty. Muscles tighten slightly. Attention sharpens. Stress hormones rise just enough to stay alert. This is why slow blinking matters so much. Slow blinking interrupts intensity. It breaks the stare into something fragmented and gentle. To a cat, this communicates non-threat, softness, and trust. When you blink slowly and look away, you're speaking in a language that says, "I am not watching you to control you." Over time, cats respond to this with relaxation, and sometimes with a slow blink in return. The unseen stress of being loomed over. Human bodies are large, upright, and constantly moving. Cat bodies are low, compact, and built around escape routes. This difference in scale matters more than we usually realize, especially in moments that feel completely ordinary to us. When a human bends suddenly over a cat, blocks the light, or reaches down from above, the cat's body doesn't analyze intentions. It reacts to shape, speed, and shadow. A large form appearing overhead triggers instincts that are far older than domestic life. Even the gentlest movement can momentarily resemble a threat. Cats are predators, but they are not at the top of every food chain. Their nervous systems evolved to survive environments where danger often came from above. Because of this, looming gestures can activate alertness even in cats who trust their humans deeply. This is especially true for kittens, shy cats, or cats who have experienced instability earlier in life. Meeting a cat at their level changes everything. Sitting nearby instead of bending over. Turning slightly sideways instead of facing head-on. Letting the cat approach instead of reaching first. These small adjustments remove pressure from the interaction and give the cat control. And in the feline world, control is safety. Why sudden noises hit cats so hard? Human hearing fades at around 20,000 Hz. For cats, the world extends far beyond that limit. Their ears capture frequencies we never notice, and their brains process sound with remarkable sensitivity. This means that the acoustic environment of a home feels very different to a cat than it does to a human. A dropped spoon, a slammed door, a sudden laugh, a sneeze. To us, these are minor interruptions. To a cat, they can arrive like shock waves. Sharp, unpredictable, and impossible to prepare for. When these sounds happen repeatedly, the nervous system doesn't get the chance to settle fully. Chronic noise doesn't just cause momentary startle responses. Over time, it can contribute to ongoing stress, behavioral changes, and even physical issues. The body stays in a state of readiness, always waiting for the next interruption. This is not drama. It is self-protection. Providing a quiet retreat is not about spoiling a cat. It is about offering predictability, a space where sound is muted, where familiar scents exist, where the cat can withdraw without being followed. In these spaces, cats decompress, and when they feel safe enough to retreat, they also feel safe enough to return. When affection crosses the invisible line, cats enjoy physical affection, but their tolerance for touch is finely tuned. Their skin contains receptors that respond to even the lightest pressure, and their nervous systems register repetition more quickly than ours. What begins as pleasurable contact can slowly become overstimulation without any clear moment of transition. This is where misunderstandings often happen. A human continues petting because the cat hasn't moved away. The cat remains because leaving would require effort, disruption, or confrontation. Internally, however, irritation begins to build. The body sends signals: a tail flick, a shift in posture, a subtle tightening. Every cat has a threshold. It's not fixed, and it changes based on mood, environment, and trust. When that threshold is crossed, reactions may seem sudden or confusing, but they are not random. They are the result of boundaries being ignored just long enough to require enforcement. Learning to stop before the threshold is crossed changes the entire relationship. It teaches the cat that they don't need to escalate to be understood. Over time, this reduces defensive behaviors and increases voluntary affection. Respect, in this case, becomes calming. The quiet confusion of moving their things. Cats experience their environment through scent in ways humans rarely notice. They mark important locations with facial glands, paws, and body contact. These scent markers create a mental map, a stable framework that tells the cat where they are and what belongs to them. When objects like beds, scratching posts, or litter boxes are moved suddenly, the scent landscape shifts. From the cat's perspective, it's as if familiar landmarks have disappeared overnight. The physical room may look the same, but the invisible structure has changed. This can create subtle disorientation. The cat may seem unsettled, pace more, or avoid certain areas. It's not stubbornness. It's confusion layered with mild stress. Stability is not just emotional for cats. It's spatial. When changes are necessary, gradual transitions help. Allowing scent to move with objects. Letting the cat investigate at their own pace. Preserving familiar arrangements when possible. These considerations maintain continuity, which calms the nervous system and reinforces trust. Play as emotional necessity, not entertainment. For cats, play is not optional enrichment. It is rehearsal. It is expression. It is how instinctive energy finds release without becoming frustration. The sequence of play, stalking, chasing, capturing mirrors the hunting cycle that shaped the feline brain. When this cycle is interrupted or absent, tension accumulates. Energy has nowhere to go. The mind searches for stimulation, sometimes in destructive or anxious ways. This is why understimulated cats often develop behavioral issues that seem unrelated to boredom. At the same time, rough play with hands confuses boundaries. It teaches cats that human skin is part of the hunting sequence. Over time, this increases the likelihood of bites and scratches, not because the cat is aggressive, but because the rules were unclear. Using toys allows cats to complete their instinctive cycles safely, provides release without conflict. And when play ends with satisfaction, the body relaxes. Calm follows. Sleep deepens. Balance is restored. The stress of forced social moments. Cats value autonomy more than approval. They choose when to engage, how long to stay, and when to leave. This isn't aloofness. It's how safety is maintained. When that choice is removed, stress enters quietly but firmly. Being picked up without warning. Being placed in unfamiliar laps. Being surrounded by unfamiliar scents and voices. These moments may seem harmless or even well-intentioned, but they remove control from an animal that relies on control to feel secure. Interestingly, cats often approach people who ignore them. This isn't contradiction, it's strategy. Ignored presence feels safe. Pressure feels unpredictable. When cats are allowed to observe from a distance, curiosity replaces avoidance. Providing elevated spaces, quiet rooms, and clear boundaries during social gatherings allows cats to regulate their exposure. When they feel in control, they are far more likely to choose connection on their own terms. Quiet shift that changes everything. Your cat is not fragile. They are sensitive in a way that reflects intelligence, awareness, and survival. When you begin to notice how your cat experiences sound, touch, movement, and choice, something subtle shifts. The home becomes calmer. The relationship becomes softer. Trust stops being something you seek and becomes something your cat offers. If you want to keep learning the quiet language cats speak every day, subscribe to CatFactsFunny. We'll keep slowing down together.